Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's Business Spotlight. I'm your host today, Todd Rodden. I'm a certified business and executive coach. I own Aspire Action Coach based here in the Dayton, Ohio area. We're thrilled to have you join us today. And if you're new to the Business Spotlight, especially, we encourage you to check out some of the other episodes after you're done with this today and go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you'll receive future messages like the one we're going to share today here with Brandon Owens. And that's excited to have Brandon here with us. Brandon is the principal broker with FirstChoice Business Brokers of Cincinnati. Brandon brings a wealth of business leadership experience, a lot in manufacturing and some other industries, and founded his business in 2020, which obviously is an interesting time to start a business. So, and being a business broker, he's got great line of sight to what a lot of business owners do well, and then where there may be opportunities for them to get even more and deliver even more out of their business. So, Brandon, we're thrilled to have you on the Business Spotlight. Take a minute, introduce yourself, tell us how you got started, tell us a little bit more about FirstChoice Business Brokers.
Thanks, Todd. Thanks for having me. Mike, again, my name is Brandon Owens, and a business broker with FirstChoice Business Brokers Cincinnati. We cover kind of the southwest area of Ohio, and it's our mission to help business owners out there that are looking to exit and find a qualified buyer for their business. We do that through a number of ways. We start off with just giving the business owner a free business valuation, tell them what their business is worth. That in and of itself is, worth a great deal of time and effort on the business owner's part, and that's something that we start with, and we're happy to do it.
So, walk us through like how you got started. Why did you go into being a business broker?
I think I started off the way a lot of business brokers get into this. We accidentally fall into it. I was looking to buy a business myself. I'd spent a great deal of time making other people rich, that being other companies, and I've worked for some big ones, and I got to that point in my career where I was looking to transition to something that I wanted to do myself. I ran into a few business brokers, business intermediaries in the process, and learned just enough about the business through that process to think that, this is something I think I could do. And it can be a fairly lucrative business. It can be a fairly lucrative career for a business broker for those that have the panache, the staying power to do it. And thus far I don't have any regrets whatsoever. Just wish the only regret I have is I wish I would have started this 20 years ago.
Any particular challenges starting in the depth of the pandemic there?
Oh yeah, well, 2020 was a really interesting year to start because I don't think there's a business owner that started a business in 2020 that didn't look themselves in the mirror one morning and go, what in the world have I done? Because it was just the world of unknowns. What we didn't know scared us more than what we did know. Sure. The pandemic in and of itself, I think, scared everyone. It was not knowing what was coming around the next corner, where the business is going to survive. Was there anybody going to be in business at the end of the year? And, as a new business broker, is this really a good time to do this? As it turns out, it was a great year, 2020, to kind of, have your fits and starts and stumbles and fumbles and learn the process of engaging business owners and finding out what makes them tick and, what a good what a good business prospect is for us in the business brokerage community. And, I spent that first year kind of learning the ropes and learning the area and how to do this and how to not do it. And so 2020, I think, intuitively, a lot of people, I think, would say that's a terrible time or probably was a bad time to start a business. It turns out it was a great time. So it worked out fine for us.
Yeah. Worked through it, probably learned a lot more more rapidly because of that environment, like many of us, right?
You could say that, but I think by the same token, everything slowed down so much that it actually helped you because you didn't have that breakneck speed that the economy had slowed down, businesses had slowed down, and business owners had a lot more time to talk to a business broker that was calling them about potentially selling their business. So it kind of worked out perfect for me.
Well, you mentioned a key learning there was trying to understand who your best prospects were. So kind of your ideal customer. So share with the community, who are, so someone who's listening out there, hey, they might be a great fit for your services.
There is no one answer to that question because at any given time, I don't care what age the business owner is or what stage they are in their lives. There are transition points that everyone's at some point where a business owner needs to get rid of a business because they're moving. Maybe their spouse is the primary breadwinner and they're moving out of town. Maybe they're connected to the military, their spouse is, and they're leaving town, which can happen here in the Dayton area, as you know, right? Patterson Air Force Base, one of the largest military installations in the United States. It could be a divorce, but most commonly, and this is what we found out, most commonly, the better prospects for us are those business owners that are at that retirement point where they're aging out of the business. And they're typically motivated to sell their business. They're not looking over their shoulder and wondering whether or not they're going to stay on another 5 or 10 years. They don't want to stay on another 5 or 10 years. So those, I mean, if you know somebody that's, at that point where they should sell their business, it's time for them to sell their business. A lot of business owners just do not know what a business broker does. They think that a real estate agent is who they should call, or an attorney or an accountant, and all of those can be the right choices in the state of Ohio. But a business broker, per se, is trained to sell their business, and this is the only thing that we do, and we do it well.
So like every business, marketing, getting the word out about you and your business is always key to growth and profitability. So how do you do that with FirstChoice? What have you found have been the most successful ways of making those connections and contacts?
Well, our best connective paths are always through networking. We spend a lot of time in networking groups in the Dayton and Cincinnati area. We rub a lot of elbows. We spend a lot of time with accountants and attorneys because those are great centers of influence for us. And, since 2020, I have noticed that, the social media presence is paramount in this industry. So, getting on Google, being a Facebook and a LinkedIn presence, Instagram, without a doubt, is certainly more popular with the younger generation, and to some degree, TikTok. So, a presence on social media is just becoming the one requirement that if you're not there, somebody else already is. So you're already behind the 8 ball. If you're not there already, so.
Like you bring forth, you're interacting with business owners who are key decision points pretty much every day in your line of work. So you get great line of sight to what you see across kind of the web of business owners. So, as you talk with potential buyers out there, what is it when they're looking into a business potentially to make that big purchase? What are they really tuned into? What are the key factors they said, I've got to have this in place before I pull the trigger?
Well, first and foremost, a profitable business. It has to be a profitable business. Now, I'm not saying that unprofitable businesses don't sell. There are strategic acquisitions where, someone will take a business that's not performing or not, doesn't have some sort of profitability. But that's first and foremost. Very, very, what makes a business popular in the buyer network, one, if it's got good, strong management in place, especially the type of management that doesn't necessarily need the business owner to be present at all times. For instance, I'll just give you an example. If you're a business owner and you're taking, 8 to 10 weeks of vacation a year, and when you are at home, you don't always go into the office because you have strong management in place, that automatically puts your business up and above every other business that's out there, especially if the first rule is true, it's profitable and it's making decent money. And then, probably a distant second and third, or a third and fourth is it in the right type of business? If it's for something that has residual income, I'll give you an example: alarm companies, subscription as a software, those types of businesses that have recurring residual income, where the business owner doesn't have to constantly pick up the phone and make new sales every month. Those sell extremely well and they're very popular. If you add all of those elements together, you got an absentee owner and residual income. You probably don't even need to use a business broker. Just put it up.
Don't say that, Brandon.
I'm just being honest. I'm just telling you, those are the businesses that sell. A great example: if you have a storage facility those are great, you know, because they hit all of those, they check all of those boxes.
Yeah.
And then there's other businesses that just simply won't sell, or they're in the wrong industry. If you are a business owner and you are the business, it is inherently more difficult to sell that business to someone else because you're not selling a business as much as you're selling a job. So, you know, not necessarily in that order, but those are some things that definitely help. So profitability is number one. If you're not making money on paper, now, you know, in the years leading up to selling your business, you're going to have a problem going to list that business for sale. And I say that for a very good reason. It's very common as a business broker for us to be approached by a business owner who is now in the twilight of their career, and it's time for them to sell. And they'll call us up and ask us to do their valuation. We do their valuation for them, and you know, inherently there's $0 being shown as a profit. You can't even get a loan from a bank in that situation as a business owner because you don't have any. You're not showing any cash flow to pay back a note that a business buyer would need to go get from a bank in order to pay the purchase price of the business back. So in the years leading up to selling your business, this is the one message that I would love to get out to all business owners. If you're within 3 to 5 years of selling your business, or you think you're even that close, you need to talk to your wealth advisor, your accountant, your attorney, and especially a business broker. Have a valuation done. Don't pay somebody to do it. Have somebody like First Choice Business Brokers, Cincinnati, do it as an example. We'll give you a free business valuation, tell you what your business is worth at this particular moment in time. You get a free look under the hood. And then you can use that knowledge in concert with talking to your accountant and your wealth advisor as to how many more levers you need to pull, how much more profitability you need to have in order to sell your business for whatever target price you want to in the future. But waiting until you have to sell it within the next 6 to 12 months is just the wrong time, especially if for the last 3 years you have shown zero profitability because you have had a very good accountant. That's congratulations, you didn't pay a dime in taxes. But by the same token, your business is not worth a darn thing to most investors because unless it's got substantial assets, it's not making money. Assets that don't make money aren't really worth nearly as much as assets that produce an income. So that's just a loud and clear message I'd love to get to the aging out business owner community that's out there in the tri-state area here, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana. You need to talk to your accountant in the years approaching your retirement years and make sure that you're showing some sort of profitability.
Yeah, I'm glad you hit on that, because that's a tremendous almost mindset shift for the owner who, especially if they've had the business for decades, so they've managed it to minimize taxes often for a long time, and then now actually you're trying to really focus on demonstrating the profitability to the outside world. Two different things.
And I think business owners need to understand that you're not chastising them for doing that. I mean, hello, who wants to pay taxes at all? Unfortunately, if you want to sell your business in the years leading up to doing that, you have to be able to prove the income that you're paying yourself every year. In reality, you're probably making a decent living, but on paper, you're not showing that at all, and your taxes will show that you've made zero. Well, a bank is not going to loan a dime against that, and it's important that you consider what a bank thinks of your business, because easily 75% of all business acquisitions are funded by a bank. So they become a necessary evil in the process. So a lot of what we do as business brokers, it hinges directly upon what we think a bank will think of the entire transaction. So we're asking that question all along the way. What will a bank think of this? Because it's important. It's a key factor in selling your business. Any
other areas you'd highlight? You see business owners under investing, and then it comes back where now they've got double the work to do to get ready to sell.
I think since the pandemic, and this isn't the business owner's fault, but underinvestment in human capital has hurt a lot of business owners. One of the first questions I get, especially if you're a sizable business, $1 million business or up, and a lot of buyers want to know, is there a second in command that, if the business owner were to leave tomorrow and I bought this business, that could help me and navigate the waters, because I'm all on my own here. I've never owned this business before. I'm going to need someone to hold my hand. And if the answer to that question is no, then as a business owner, you need to start thinking about that now, 3 to 5 years before you're going to sell your business. Who is a good lieutenant in your organization if you're big enough to have that? Start grooming that person to be your replacement. Because then when you go to sell your business, that you can say emphatically, yes, I've got an assistant manager or a general manager who I've taught everything I know, they're ready to take over, and they're not a flight risk. If you can say yes to all of those things, wow, what a powerful tool you have put in that toolbox when you go to sell that business, and it will definitely help, because it scares the heck out of most buyers. They're worried about losing customers, losing key employees. And I would honestly say losing key employees since the pandemic is the #1 concern I hear from most business buyers. And it's one of the first questions I hear when someone calls to ask about a business that we have for sale. How many employees do they have, and will they stay? And not what you would obviously think the first question would be is, why are you asking that much, and how do you justify the price? That's not the first question. It's how many employees do they have, and are they willing to stay? So, underinvestment in human capital is starting to hurt a lot of small business owners, because one, there's really no way around it. You're going to have to pay through the nose to get employees here lately. But if you really want to sell your business and sell it, at maximum price, you need to consider that as a potential tool to help sell your business.
Penny wise, pound foolish sometimes, right?
Yeah, but I mean, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Let's just say that, right? But if you can, now is in the 3 years leading up to selling your business, now is not the time to be penny wise and pound foolish when it comes to employees.
So I would imagine more than a few times you've had to come back to that business owner looking to sell, and they may have thought that business was worth this much, all right? And unfortunately, your evaluation says this much, right? So how do you go about having that conversation? I mean, this oftentimes they've poured their life into it being this much, right?
It's a difficult discussion. It's a discussion I have at least 2 or 3 times a week with business owners who I don't know where the information comes from, but there are a lot of locker room accountants and lawyers out there that are telling business owners that, your business is worth 5 times multiple. And then you get that business owner on the phone with me, and then I ask them, I get their financials from them. I come back, I do give them their valuation, and they're like, you're telling me my business is worth half of what somebody else told me it was worth. I ask them who that person was. They can't name the person. They swear up and down they were somebody who worked for KKR or some big accounting group, but they can't cite the source. We can cite the source on our business valuation, and we do it all the time. That's why I encourage business owners in that, if you can do it 5 years before you retire, have a business valuation done. I mean, it doesn't hurt. 10 years before you retire, get educated as to what those multiples really look like, so that when it's the 11th hour and 59th minute and you've got to sell your business tomorrow, you're not surprised to find out that your wealth advisor told you your business was worth $10 million and it's only worth 5. And now you got a serious problem on your hands, because you're probably not retiring. I would think you'd rather know that in 5 to 10 years before, so that you could plan accordingly, increase your sales, improve your bottom line. But far too often I'm running into business owners that don't understand their business valuation, have never had one done, and are shocked to find out that it's worth not nearly what they thought it was. Automotive shops are probably one of the guiltiest groups I've seen about that. They think their businesses are worth a lot more. I don't know who's going around telling these poor folks that their multiples are 5 or 6 times or whatever they are. But I'd love to get my hands on them and tell them stop, because they're misleading a lot of folks out there as to what their businesses are really worth. Another common misconception among business owners that your business is worth the sum of its parts, and that's not an incorrect statement. If you're doing a liquidation and you can get fair market value for everything. But I'll give you an example. If you do have, let's use the automotive shop. You have an automotive shop and you paid $30,000 for that big old toolbox that you've got in there. If you can sell it for $30,000, congratulations. You're not going to sell that for $30,000. That may be what you paid for it 5 years ago. But
Yep.
even into the post-pandemic world, those tools are not worth $30,000. That lift, the hydraulic lift that you put in for $15,000, it's depreciated. It's not worth $15,000 anymore. It may be. I'm not saying it isn't, but your business is worth typically, and this is a message that is a hard pill for most business owners to swallow. It is worth some multiple of the income that it produces, and that's it. Unless you're a tech company, in Silicon Valley, and you've got some, emerging product that's going to revolutionize, chip technology, and you're losing money, that company's probably worth who knows what multiple. But that's not the case with most business owners. Most business owners are mom and pop, Main Street to middle market, lower middle market businesses, and your business is worth some multiple of the cash flow that it produces. And there's an old saying in this industry: we're selling liquidity, and that is so very true. So keep an eye on that bottom line, because if your bottom line shows zero on your taxes, and in reality it's actually $250,000, what should be a $750,000 business is actually zero, because you're not showing anything on your taxes. You don't have to do that every year for 10 years leading up, but about 2 to 3 years before you know you're going to sell your business, now's the time to start giving Uncle Sam some money. I know it's a terrible thing to say, but it's true.
For sure. So for you, what do you view right now as you look forward, your biggest challenge?
Oh, without a doubt, what we're talking about just a few seconds ago, it's just educating the client. It's getting that message out to business owners and getting an audience with them. Again, business brokers, there's only 4,000 of us, or approximately 4,000 business brokers in the United States, and not all of those are certified business intermediaries. I am, and that means that we're kind of a cut above others, and that we've been educated. We are actually good at educating the client and just getting the message out there. What we were just talking about, those things that are important to do. The Exit Planning Institute's a great source for business owners to start looking at in the years leading up to their retirement or the eventual sale of their business. They can help point you in the right direction, get you the resources that you need, including folks like myself, a business broker, that can help you make that transition as smooth as possible without the loss and the erosion of the value of your business. So, start having that conversation sooner rather than later. And that's the struggle. That's the real struggle in the business brokerage world, trying to get that message out to business owners.
So getting them to really understand, to start making those plans sooner, right? So, for sure.
Planning's everything, right?
Yeah.
It is.
So what's your vision? You're now, for yourself, business owner, 4 years-ish. What do you see for you and First Choice down the path? You look 3-5 years down the road.
We're growing this office and trying to engage as many business owners as we can, earlier rather than later, and not, become their 11th hour friend. We'd rather be their 9 p.m. friend, so that we can talk to them before the exit. And that's just a matter of getting out in front of folks, shaking as many hands as we possibly can, and getting the message out. So, and we'll expand as much as the market will let us, and be a good resource for those folks where we can. And I'm excited to be a part of it. There's a lot of business brokers out there that are aging out themselves. So this is a ripe industry for people that are looking for a good career where you kind of make your own schedule. And if you love the thrill of the hunt, it's fun. So it's a great career to step into. But there are a lot of older folks in it that are going to be retiring soon. That means there's going to be a lot fewer business brokers out there. So, word to the wise.
All right. So, hey, Brandon, you're now 4+ years into this, plus you bring a lot of leadership experience with you, prior to this role.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of kind of newer leaders who subscribe to the series here. So, what advice would you give them, and what have been your keys to success?
Just being a pig-headed, stubborn determination. You're gonna. This career is not for the faint of heart, without a doubt. And you don't have to have really deep pockets, but you do. In order to step into it, you have to have, you have to have high, set high goals, but have low expectations in that first 6 months, because this is about getting your name out there. It's about establishing a brand that is you, and at the same token, building a pipeline of available listings that you have for sale. So without a doubt, if it's something you want to get into, there are very, very few young people in this industry, and a lot of the folks that are in it look like me and older. And I think there's a lot of room for that younger energy that the younger generation brings, and I think that it would benefit greatly from it.
Excellent. Hey, thanks for sharing that. So,
Okay.
it's before we hit our final question today, what are the best ways for folks to follow First Choice, follow you, stay connected?
Oh, well, you can follow us on Facebook without a doubt. First Choice Business Brokers Cincinnati. I think we should pop right up. I know that we're on LinkedIn under the same name. Our website is businessforsaleohio.com. And or you can email me directly, brandon@fcbb.com, and we can go from there.
All right. All right. So as we wrap up here, what inspired you today, Brandon?
This is going to sound weird, but it's not weird. It's not weird at all. The younger generation actually inspires me. I think that I think I alluded to it just a few seconds ago.
Yeah.
This is an occupation dominated by people in their 40s and up. And the younger generation, I think, gets a bad rap unnecessarily. They bring aspects to this business that make what I do look very slow and lethargic. They work harder, not harder, but they work smarter where I'm working harder. And I think there's just a lot of room for them in this industry, without a doubt.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a great mindset. Yeah, I would echo the same things, right? As us who may be a little more advanced in years, it's easy to have that get off my lawn mindset, but that's the young folks today bring lots of passion, energy, and just a different way of approaching problems.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and they can use things that you and I don't even know how to spell. So.
So Brandon, thank you for sharing your story here with us. For the viewers, encourage you, if you are a business owner and you're thinking about your exit a few years down the road, don't wait until the 11th hour, as Brandon said. So reach out to him early. And also, if you're somebody who's thinking about a career change, as you mentioned, great opportunity here. There is a tremendous wave of people demographically looking to retire and potentially exit their business in the next few years. So business brokers is an area where a lot of opportunity. So connect with Brandon if that's something that's of interest as well. So again, viewers, we're grateful for you joining us here today. And again, go ahead, hit that like button and also hit subscribe so you'll receive future messages like you received here today from Brandon. So thank you, Brandon, and I hope you all have a terrific day.
Thank you, Tom.